Welcome back to the series of Ind AS with Accountsman. In this video, we're going to discuss about the applicability of Ind AS. So we discussed the fact that Ind AS is applicable to all the companies of India. So how is it made applicable? It is made applicable in a phased manner. So the first phase was financial year 15-16. Starting from the financial year 15-16, it was given as an option for the existing companies to start complying with Ind AS. So it was only optional and recommendatory, and it was not made mandatory. However, from the financial year 16-17, it was made mandatory for specific companies. That is in a phased manner. We call this phase 1. So, making mandatory in the phase 1, they told if net worth of the company is greater than or equal to 500 crores, then those companies are mandatorily supposed to follow Ind AS starting for the financial year 16-17, that is from 1st of April 2016. And in the next phase, they started telling that financial year 17-18, it was made mandatory for, okay, this is phase 2. So in phase 2, it was made mandatory for all listed companies irrespective of net worth, and unlisted companies with net worth greater than or equal to 250 crores. So this is how the mandatory phase 1, phase 2 happened in our country. So from financial year 15-16, it has been given as an option for the companies to follow Ind AS. Starting from financial year 16-17, it was made mandatory for the companies with net worth greater than 500 crores, and starting from the financial year 17-18, it was made mandatory for all listed companies and unlisted companies having net worth greater than 500 crores. So this is with regard to implementation of Ind AS in our country. Now we should start focusing a little regarding what exactly do we mean by this net worth and what exactly is this listing criteria. So that brings us to a new discussion regarding net worth. Whenever we talk about net worth is checked as on 31st of March 2014 or the last date of the previous year or last date of previous year. Meaning, firstly we will check the net worth as on 31st of March 2014. Now assume that as on 31st of March 2014 it is 500 crores. Then it is actually mandatory in this phase. You get that? Later, as on the last date of the previous year, if it comes down to 400 crores, that is on, see here, this is 16-17. So what if I say 31st of March 2016? So because the net worth is greater than 500 crores, Ind AS is applicable from the financial year 16-17. But just before we start with our financial year 16, what happened? Our net worth became 400 crores. When will the Ind AS be applicable? Ind AS will still be applicable for the financial year 16-17. So we need to take net worth as on 31st of March 2014 or the last date of previous year, whichever is higher. So this last date of the previous year's net worth is considered to make the Ind AS applicable to the company at the earliest, but not to delay the applicability of Ind AS. So we will check the net worth as on 31st of March 2014 or the last day of the previous year. Whichever is higher will be applicable to check whichever is higher is considered for the applicability of Ind AS. So the objective here is to make the Ind AS applicable for the companies at the earliest and not delay the applicability of Ind AS. Then the next one, whenever we check the net worth criteria, what exactly do we mean by net worth, or how exactly is net worth computed? Net worth is computed as share capital plus reserves and surplus plus security premium, and from these we will subtract any accumulated losses, whatever is there. Yeah, we take up share capital, add reserves and surplus, add security premium and subtract accumulated losses if anything is not written off. Further, if there is any deferred expenses to the extent not written off are to be written off now. So, deferred accumulated expenses, if it's not been written off, it has to be written off, and this is how we compute the net worth for the purpose of checking applicability of Ind AS. And this net worth, whatever is computed, is checked with respect to standalone financial statements. What exactly do you mean by standalone financial statements? Meaning we will not be considering anything regarding consolidated financial statements. So we'll check it exclusively for that company and not for the entire group as a whole. So this is with regarding net worth. If we observe the discussion that we had previously, we had to discuss net worth as well as listing criteria. Now we're done with net worth. Now come on, let's start discussing the listing criteria. So the applicability of Ind AS is there based on the listing of the company also. This listing of the company is to be checked when? It's definitely not on 31st of March 2014. This is to be checked on last date of previous year. So on the last date of previous year, if the company is listed, then this criteria will apply. If the company is not listed, then you need to check it as unlisted company, meaning assume on 1st of April 2015, if the company is listed, it doesn't really matter. We would have to check if the company is listed on 1st of April 2017. Only if the company is listed as on 1st of April 2017 or 31st of March 2017, then the company will be made mandatorily follow Ind AS under this phase 2. This is without considering the net worth. However, if the company has net worth greater than 500 crores, irrespective of the fact whether the company is listed or unlisted, it will be covered in the phase 1 and the Ind AS will be applicable from 1st of April 2016. You might ask a question here saying that, sir, what if on 31st of March 2014 the net worth is less than 500 crores but the net worth as on 31st of March 2017 becomes 500 crores. Then should we restate our financial year 16-17 statement with Ind AS? The answer is no. So you would check the 31st of March 2014's net worth and the last date of previous year's net worth. If you are considering financial year 16-17, the last date is 31st of March 2016. You would check the net worth as on 31st of March 16 as well as 31st of March 14, whichever is higher is considered to check if Ind AS is applicable for the upcoming year, that is financial year 16-17. In our case, if the financial year 16-17 end, that is 31st of March 2017, if the net worth is 500 crores, then it will be applicable from 17-18, that is from the next year, because you cannot go back in time to restate your financial statements, isn't it? Yes. So that's the point. So with respect to net worth we've discussed here, with respect to listing we've discussed here. Listing is to be checked on the last date of previous year. The next important point is, if it in the sense company here is listed in SME exchange. Yeah, SME exchange is a stock exchange exclusively for small and medium enterprise. It is to be considered as unlisted company. Yeah, a company which is listed in SME stock exchange is to be considered as an unlisted company, and it would basically need to fall in this criteria of greater than 250 crores, and this one it will not fall in the listing criteria. It is to be considered as an unlisted company only for the purpose of checking the applicability of Ind AS. So this is with regard to listing criteria. However, we have another important point coming. Irrespective of checking whether the net worth or listing, we have to check if it is a SAHJ. So what is SAHJ or Sahaj? S means subsidiary, A means associate, H is holding, and J is joint venture, or you can call it JAS also. JHA is the opposite way. So if one of the company is covered and you are the subsidiary of that company, or one company is covered under Ind AS and you are its associate or joint venture, then you are mandatorily supposed to fulfill Ind AS, and Ind AS is applicable to you irrespective of the fact whether your net worth exceeds or not, or irrespective of the fact whether your company is listed or not. So if the company is a subsidiary, associate, holding or joint venture, then you don't check net worth, or you will not check listing criteria also. It will be applicable to you if it is applicable to your subsidiary, holding, associate or joint venture. So even if one company is covered, the entire group is covered in the Ind AS bracket. So this is with regard to the applicability. However, this particular criteria, whatever we discussed now, is not applicable to certain companies. The entire applicability criteria that we discussed now is not applicable to number 1, banking, number 2, insurance, and number 3, non-banking financial corporations. So the present criteria whatever we discussed is not applicable to banking companies, it is not applicable to insurance companies, and it is not applicable to NBFCs, because they are not covered by our Companies Act. They have a specific act regulating. For banking we have RBI and Banking Regulation Act 1949, which will basically regulate this. For insurance we have IRDA and Insurance Act, which will take care of insurance companies, and NBFCs are also regulated by RBI. So these particular companies like banking companies, insurance companies and NBFCs have been covered under a specific provision, and you will not apply the normal provisions what we discussed till now. So what are the provisions that are applicable to banking companies, insurance and NBFC? Come on, let us start seeing that. With respect to banking companies, RBI had told that Ind AS is applicable from 1st of April 2019 and it will be followed from 1st of April 2019. Later, RBI made a correction that no, I will not make it applicable from 1st of April 2019, we will start to follow it from 1st of April 2020. However, recently again RBI has passed a notification that it is not applicable from 1st of April 20 also. So from when is the banking companies going to follow Ind AS? It is to be announced by RBI. RBI has told that till I pass any further notice, this particular banking companies will not be covered under Ind AS. So as of now, banking companies are not covered under Ind AS till the time the RBI passes a specific notification regarding the same. With regard to insurance companies, IRDA has told that Ind AS will be followed from 1st of April 2021. So we need to wait and see if they will follow from 1st of April 2021 or will there be further postponement of the applicability date. Going further, we have NBFCs. NBFCs have similar criteria that we follow for any other companies. However, there is 2-year deferment. Meaning, if you can recall, we discussed this point wherein I told it is applicable from financial year 16-17 in phase 1, whereas for NBFCs it will be +2 here. So meaning it will be financial year 18-19, say it will be applicable if net worth is greater than 500 crores, and here +2, meaning it will be applicable in the mandatory phase 2, that is from financial year 19-20 if the NBFC's net worth is greater than 250 crores, sorry. So come on, let us make a mention of this 17-19 and 19-20. Yeah, so from the financial year from the financial year 18-19, from the financial year 18-19, if net worth is greater than or equal to 500 crores, and from financial year 19-20 if net worth is greater than or equal to 250 crores. 250 crores. There is no possibility of NBFCs following it on optional basis. It is not optional. Yeah, so can an NBFC start following Ind AS before financial year 18-19? No. There is no possibility of NBFCs doing this. So for NBFCs, it is applicable only from financial year 18-19 and further from 19-20. Only compulsory and nothing is given as option to NBFCs. So this is the point regarding our NBFCs, banking companies and insurance companies. Going ahead, few important pointers with regard in I would say Ind AS applicability is, can we say that once we had fulfilled the criteria and Ind AS was applicable, later our criteria fulfillment was not there, can I go back to accounting standards? No. So the important point here is, once Ind AS, then no looking back. Get that? In a phased manner, the government of India along with MCA wants to make entire country's corporates to start following Ind AS. So you cannot be like, last year I followed Ind AS, this year I am going back to accounting standards. That is not allowed. And can I follow half Ind AS and half accounting standards? This half and half business is not allowed. So there is no possibility of you following half Ind AS and half accounting standards. You have to follow Ind AS in complete. However, if AS is silent and you are following accounting standards, to that extent you can start following Ind AS. You get that? If you are following accounting standards and accounting standards is silent with regard to specific provision, with regard to that, if Ind AS is saying anything, then you can start following Ind AS to that extent. And another important point with respect to this is, AS or Ind AS, it doesn't matter which one, it cannot override law. It cannot override law. So law always prevails over and above Indian accounting standards or accounting standards for that matter. So this is the basic applicability provisions regarding our Ind AS. See you all in the next video when we start discussing the first Ind AS.